Hello everybody, and welcome to the very first actual product review on my channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Everlasting Wet Palette from Redgrass. This is supposed to be the best on the market, and I've been looking for something to replace my Tupperware container with. So basically what I'm going to be comparing this to over this review is to my Tupperware container. So my biggest thing is it was size. I like the size of this, and obviously how long the paint stays wet for, in other words. So I haven't opened this yet, so saving it for the actual review. So let's pull everything that it comes with. Now what I am comparing it to, my Tupperware container here was around 10 bucks at Walmart with, you know, everything included, obviously, with the everything included, jeez. Tupperware container, the wax paper, and the paper towels, around 10 bucks. This was 50, and it took a month and a half to get here from France. So what you get is hydration paper, 50 sheets. You get two of these sponges, two of the sponges, and you get the palette itself. So let's open this up and see. But yeah, that's basically what this will be compared to over the course of this review, is my Tupperware container, because that Tupperware container has actually served me quite well over the years, and it has been years now that I've been using it for. And as I said, the only reason I got this is I wanted something a little bit more ergonomic. So hopefully that does the job. But it comes with a little add-on thing for, I guess this is for inks or something or other. I don't know. Inks or washes or whatever the hell it's for. But let me see how easily this opens. Not very. Unless I don't know what I'm doing, which is also very possible. I think I knew what I was doing. It just doesn't open. I mean, granted, it's got a seal here, which is supposed to be an airtight seal, so that probably makes sense as to why it doesn't open very easily. Let's see, closed it back up. Or it was the first time I was opening it, which may also have something to do with it. Okay, not too bad. So we got a perforated base on here. Now let's open our sponges. Let's open us some sponges. And these are supposed to be mold resistant and so on and so forth. I feel moist. It's weird. And this goes in here. And then the paper gets laid down on top of it. So let me go and wet this real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got a wet base here. And now I'm going to open up my hydration paper, as it's called. Fancy names and such. So is this just like fancy pre-cut baking paper? Is that what this is? Sure as hell feels like it, that's for sure. Yeah, it's just fancy pre-cut baking paper. But I'm supposed to lay this down on here, like so. With all the water bubbles out of it. And then we're supposed to be good to go. So we're only supposed to wet one side of it. Alright, we're supposed to be good to go now. We'll see how this goes. So, what I am going to do now is, for the sake of this interview, for the sake of this review, is I'm going to use this for a couple of days. Heavily use this for a couple of days. And we'll basically see how it works. So I'll come back for you guys. I'll be back in a few seconds. In the real world, I'll be back in a couple of days, and this isn't actually very, yeah, this is kind of weak, but I wasn't planning on using this regardless, So yeah, I'm going to be back in a little bit, like 2 seconds, and we'll see how long it lasted, how long the paint lasted, if it dried quickly, if it didn't, and I'll compare it to my Tupperware. So I'll be back. Hello folks, it's actually been close to a week that I let this sit. I checked on it after a few days and it actually looked okay, better than I thought, so I let it sit a little longer. It's been 6 days now. Let's open this up and see what's become of it. If I can open it up. Oh, come on, guy. Well, I gotta do this off camera, don't I? Yep. The fact that there's like no easy like grab handle or anything, that kind of... Okay, so this is literally after a week. Paint's still good. Like, paint for the most part is still usable. Other than the browns, obviously, that's to be even some of this brown. So after a week's time, the seal has held up, and the paint is, as you can see, still usable. So, actually, I'm surprised because I was expecting this to be completely dry at this point and just completely not usable. So it's held a seal. So that's the good about it. What's the bad? As you can see, there's a tear in here. I tore one of these papers in the first 5 minutes of me using this. This is like the third paper I had to use, and I left it when I was using it. I left it because now you can see all the tears in it, so it's very, very, very fragile, this paper. So you have to be careful. The way I mix my paint on my palette is I'll take the butt end of my brush and just basically agitated use this to mix with. That's what caused this to tear. So this paper is very fragile. After a week's time, this is still damp. It's actually quite damp, which is good. My only other problem with this was, as I was using the yellow to paint this guy, because I was using this to paint him, as I was using the yellow actually, it's still a little moist, but the yellow actually dried up on me within like a couple of hours. So, it's still moist inside. The water evaporated. I had to add water in here twice throughout a 5-hour painting session because the water did evaporate and stuff started drying out. But once I closed it up, as you can see, I mean, there's still wet paint in here, so that's a good thing, obviously. Here's my final thought on this. This is keeping in mind, this is what I'm coming from, this is what I'm used to using. Okay. This isn't a terrible product. Having used the only other wet palette that I've used that's been marketed, you know, directly at miniature painters and stuff was the Privateer Press one, and that was shit. So, if this being the best on the market, I can believe it. Does it beat my Tupperware container? No. I'm going to try and use my baking paper in this, see if it's any more durable. But the fact that paint was drying out on here in the first couple of hours of use, that kind of turned me off from it. I love the ergonomic design because, again, I can move my hand around here a lot easier, so I absolutely love the ergonomic design on here. Yeah, so is it worth the 40 or 50 bucks? I can't really say one way or the other. Am I going to keep using it? Yes. Am I probably going to go back to my Tupperware container? Yes. Is it worth $50? Probably not. If this was a $20, $25 product, then yeah, it's probably worth it. Is it worth $50? Probably not. If you're looking for a good wet palette, however, I would still, all day long, recommend something that was $10 at Walmart as opposed to 50 and took a month and a half to get here from France. That's my thought, at least. This is my thought alone. It's a nifty product. It's a cool product. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool little product. It's not a $50 product. It's a $20, $25 product at best, in my opinion. They use a lot of big words on advertising it. This seal is pretty good. As I said, the paint's still wet after a week, which is great. But they use a lot of big words advertising it, best on the market, so on and so forth. It's not when my paint and my water was evaporating in the first few hours of me using this. Not to mention this was tearing just by normal paint agitation using the butt end of my brush. So, again, if it was 20, 25 bucks, it'd be worth it all day long. 50 bucks as it is, no, absolutely not. I hope you guys found this helpful. If any of you want to try this product, by all means, go ahead. Don't let me dissuade you from doing so. These are just my opinions and nobody else's. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with my opinion and say this is not worth it. But I will keep using it and for a couple of weeks or a couple of months even, and I might revise this review after. So granted, this is only about a week's worth of use. So I may very well come back and revise my opinion on this. But as of right now, not worth the price. It's a decent product if it was half the price, not for the full price. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time.